Supply chains have never had more technology available than they do today. Yet, many companies have never felt more uncertain about the decision they need to make. Because the real challenge is not whether to automate, it's about how the companies today are building operations to remain resilient, flexible, competitive, customer centric in the environment where the rules are changing quite oftenly. And this is exactly the conversation we are having today with my guest, Yannick Buisson, the executive committee member at FM Logistic, responsible for customer experience, sustainability, business solutions, and technologies. Working across Europe, Yannick has a front row seat to one of the biggest transformations happening in today's business world. How companies are redesigning their operating models to remain competitive in an increasingly unpredictable environment. So today we go beyond buzzwords and explore what leaders need to understand before automation becomes a strategic necessity. Yannick, thank you so much for accepting to provide this interview to me.
Thanks for your invitation.
Let's start with the beginning. Automation at scale sounds very efficient in strategy presentations. But once it reaches real operations, complexity appears very quickly. From the projects you have seen across Europe, where does reality usually become harder than expected?
I think it becomes harder when you think it's a plug and play solution. In fact, you need to understand you are starting a journey of automation, and then you have many things to learn. This is a different way to work. You need different skills. You need to handle the machine and the algorithm. So it's a journey. You decide to jump in, and then you will discover a lot of things. But it's not working plug and play from day one.
So it's a long-term commitment. It's not a quick sprint. It's a marathon, let's say.
It's several sprints, one after the other. Mm-hmm. And you have some initial, setting, and then this is a journey you have to drive through with multiple evolutions.
Was there one lesson that changed the way you personally look at the automation?
In fact, there's always a balance between performance and resilience. Means if you want the highest performance, perhaps you will choose a too rigid solution, but then you know that your activity may change. So you need to really think about the resilience and the ability to adapt in the time. So the lesson learned from many projects is to have flexible enough solution to make sure this long journey we have just discussed about will be successful.
Can you share some use cases or some examples that happened to you personally?
Yeah, we have, the first topic we have to challenge is when you have a fantastic growth plan on which you base your assumption to size and automation. As soon as the volumes are not there, then you have big troubles. So this is really something you need to challenge, because there are plenty of projects where you were expecting a lot of growth and then the growth is not coming, and then you just have a lot of fixed costs remaining.
Yet many companies want omni-channel capabilities, but only a few manage to build truly connected ecosystems. Where does disconnect usually happen? Why it's happening?
Why it's happening? But it's happening when you do think that, logistic is some, back office topic. In fact, it's a weapon for growth. So means it needs to be considered as a strategic asset to support the development of your company. So I think this is where there is a disconnect. So this is something to have in mind.
Yeah, to keep an eye on.
To keep an eye on and to see what is the potential of this technology for your business.
And is this mainly a technology issue, a leadership issue, or an operating model issue?
This is mostly a leadership topic. As soon as you understand that your logistic and tomorrow your automated logistic is a strong support or give you new possibilities, this need to be considered as a strategic topics that need to be discussed at board level.
So it's a from top to down, in a way, implementation of as a process itself.
Yeah, because these are heavy investment. So as a heavy investment, need to be a strategic decision. Yes.
Automation is often perceived as a technology project, but in reality, it changes how people work. What are the most common mistakes companies make on the people side of automation?
I think underestimation of the changes that will be provided for many jobs. So, and the way people are reacting to a new project. So we can't underestimate the reaction of people.
The resistance
to changes because they don't, perhaps we did not explain enough what will change. As soon as they understand the resilience is lower. So the first mistake would be not to explain, not to be able to show to people what will change and why it will change and what will be better for them. So this is one of the key topics.
So communication skills, it's really important for the leader in order to get the people engaged, committed, and be part of this transformation journey.
Yeah, communication to onboard them, because we need also energy of all the team. And for this, if we want their energy, we need to make sure they understand what will change and how they can participate to this project.
And maybe also to explain their roles, their part to be played in this project itself. It's also important in order to have them on board.
Yeah, it's important that they understand what role they can play in the project, and later on, it's not just only, you put a new system and they have to adapt to the system. They have some input to give to also make the system efficient and matching to also their work environment and expectations.
After so many transformation projects that you have implemented, was there a moment that challenged one of your own assumptions about automation?
During many years, automation was seen as an answer to mature market with high wage level. And in fact, this has been challenged over the last months and years. It has become a topic in many countries, not only, I would say, Western Europe countries or US country with a high salary base. And this is the main topic that has been challenged over those projects.
And when the companies, the leaders, shall understand that this is the right moment for them to make this investment, to make a decision to go for an automation project? What are the signals for them?
Many projects are started when the inflation in many countries is quite high, several years ago, because then it becomes unpredictable. So there is this first topic. The second one is about your customer promise in terms of lead time, in terms of order profile. So as soon as your orders are becoming smaller and smaller, and the promise you do to your customer to deliver faster and faster. So these are the two additional triggers that if you put inflation on top, that are triggering some question about can I automate and what would bring automation to my business.
Can you remember a case when the cost of waiting too long for automation was more costly than the investment for a project, automation project?
This is always a question about having the capacity to deliver orders. So yes, there is always a question about shall I invest upfront to the capacity to be able to support growth, or do I wait to have volume to invest? As you may understand, implementing an automation is a year project or even sometimes 18 months project. So you need to make the decision upfront. So not delivering goods to your customer, this is less turnover. These are missed sales, and then you lose customer. So it's always more expensive to lose customers than to invest upfront in automation.
Customer trust, reputation,
Yes.
and maybe the competitive advantage looking
because
ahead.
when you don't deliver goods, some others are delivering goods for you. So yes, you lose customer.
Automation still, it means an investment project. It means some fixed costs to be allocated, increased. And what leaders should look like, the company should look at beyond the ROI, classical ROI calculation. At what other elements they should look beyond this?
Quite often, the topic is also about the workforce availability. So you have ROI calculation, but you have also this capacity topic. Will I be able tomorrow to deliver all the orders I will receive? So
skilled team,
professionals, enough people to be able to pick your order. So this is one topic that is on top of ROI, because then this is your promise to a customer that may be not met, and then you start to have troubles. The second one is omni-channel journey, and you want to address B2B and B2C. Then technology and automation is helping to have different kind of processes and supporting both channel. So as soon as you start to have an omni-channel journey and complex operation, plus you foresee some difficulty in hiring people, automation has to be considered.
And what about the spaces, the logistic spaces
in some countries, automation is an answer because there is a lack of space, and e-commerce activity usually requires 2 or 3 times more space than, I would say, a retail activity. You have some limitation in some country about available surfaces. So automation is an answer to densify storage, and then this is also triggering a lot of projects to be able in a given space to store more and to prepare more orders.
And then the solution comes with sharing spaces.
This is an additional way to limit risk. In fact, if you don't have by your own the volumes to have a dedicated solution, then having a multi-customer automated solution can allow you to get into automation and to get benefit of automation with sharing this infrastructure, yes.
Technology will keep evolving, but leadership will remain decisive. What leadership behavior will become essential for the next generation of supply chain leaders?
I think data is one of the key topics. I mean, we are always foreseeing the power of data to anticipate, to understand the trends, and then to adapt the technology, the processes. So having in mind data analysis, evolution, I think leaders need both to be able to have a strong leadership with the team, because they need to have team on board, but powered by data in order to anticipate and to adapt on a permanent basis the setup and the usage of this automated warehouse.
So it's also about the way you structure, keep the data, work the data, and
understand the data, yes.
Yeah, because the quality of performance, it's about how do you approach and analyze the data. It's not enough to have it.
Yeah, you need to have them, but you need to make them speak, I would say.
Yeah.
So you need to understand the data and then to change and to anticipate the tomorrow and the weeks and the months to come.
And analyzing the reality in across Europe, let's say, what mindset do you think leaders will need to leave behind?
Automation and data are powerful, but they are creating new vulnerabilities, and we need more power supply. So we are creating some dependency on different topics. Cybersecurity, because the more you are using technologies, the more you have cyber awareness to have among the team and to be protected. You need to make sure you will have the power supply for all your automated warehouse and technology. So we need to, and leaders need to understand there will be new vulnerabilities despite automation is also solving part of topics. So this is where leaders need to be aware about these new vulnerabilities.
All risks, new risks that are coming together with the automation and the development of technology.
Yes.
So, after all the countries, projects, and transformations that you have been part of, what still surprises you about the people, about how people and organizations respond to change?
In fact, with all those projects, we always see the same trend. The first reaction of people is they might be afraid about changes, but as soon as they understand, there is a very powerful energy to transform. Everything is about change management. So this is, in fact, we know the model, we know how people are reacting. So now the leaders need to take this and be able to reassure people about the future and then put them in the project to use the energy to transform.
Thank you so much for this conversation, for sharing your experience with us. And I think the key message is very clear. Automation is not only a technology decision, but a leadership one. And perhaps the real competitive advantage will belong not to the companies that automate fastest, but to those that integrate automation most intelligently into the way they serve customers, manage risk, and grow. Thank you for watching. Stay connected with Business Voice for more conversations with leaders shaping the future of business.